All right, listen up, rookie. Welcome to the Feld. Today, I'm taking you through this explainer on the exact nuts and bolts mechanics of no-limit Texas Hold'em. My goal here? It's simple. I want you to be able to step up, grab that deck, and confidently run the table like an absolute pro. So we're going to break down the fundamentals using a really clear, step-by-step learning progression. Let's get into it.
Now, to be a great dealer, you've got to understand the mind of the player. Like poker commentator James Hartigan says, a player's goal is to make the best 5-card hand out of 7 available cards. Or, act like it and bluff trying. But your job is a whole different beast. You have to be completely impartial, literally a machine. You read the table, you run the game flawlessly, and you honestly don't care who is bluffing who. Maintaining that rock-solid, neutral game security is exactly what keeps this casino running.
Okay, here's your shift schedule for today's explainer. We're going to hit the winning hands, setting up the table, that crazy first betting round, dealing the flop, turn, and river, and then finally, the showdown. Basically, we're moving chronologically through the whole life cycle of a single deal.
Section 1. The winning hands. Knowing the target. We got to start right here, kid, because you can't push the pot to the winner if you don't actually know what beats what, right? Think of this as your mental cheat sheet. There are 10 basic ways to win, and they are ranked strictly from lowest to highest. Down at the bottom, you've got your basic high card, moving right on up through a pair, 2-pair, 3 of a kind, a sequential straight, and a suit-matching flush. Now pick up the lingo here. A full house, which is a pair plus 3 of a kind, we call that a boat. 4 of a kind, that's quads, and at the very top you've got the straight flush and the absolute legend, the royal flush. You need to know this hierarchy instantly. That's what stops arguments dead in their tracks. Oh, and remember, if 2 players tie with the exact same hand type, the higher cards win. A par of 10s beats a pair of 3s every single time. No exceptions.
Okay, pay attention to this one, because it's a trap that catches so many rookies. A straight is 5 cards in sequential order, but you've got to memorize this. Absolutely no wraparounds allowed. An ace can be a high card above a king, sure, or a low card below a 2, but it cannot bridge the gap. Queen, king, ace, 2, 3? Yeah, that is not a hand. You really don't want to accidentally award a massive pot to a fake wraparound straight. Believe me, you'll have an angry table yelling at you and a pit boss breathing right down your neck.
Just to put this next one into perspective, 30,000 to 1. Those are your rough odds of actually dealing a royal flush. That's an unbeatable straight flush from 10 up to the ace of the exact same suit. It's incredibly rare. Honestly, if you actually deal one of these on your table, take a mental picture, because you might not see it again for a long, long time.
All right, moving on to Section 2, setting up the table, blinds and buttons. Let's actually set up this physical table before a single card even hits the felt. So the most important physical marker you've got is the dealer button. This little white puck right here marks the starting position for the hand. As the actual dealer, you're always going to pitch your very first card to the active player sitting on the immediate left of that button, and from there you just keep dealing in a strict clockwise order. Honestly, mastering this physical flow is exactly what keeps the game fair and keeps the action moving. But wait, before you pitch that first card, you gotta seed the pot. We use forced bets called blinds because, well, players have to bet them completely blind before they ever see a card. The player immediately left of the button posts the small blind, which is usually half the minimum bet. Then the player to their left posts the big blind. That's the full minimum bet. Depending on the game, you might also have to collect a small table-decided ante from everyone. Your job? Make sure those chips are sitting right there in the middle before you even think about touching the deck. Okay, Section 3, the first betting round. Hole cards in action. The game is officially on now. Once those blinds are scooped up, you're going to deal 2 secret cards. We call these hole cards, face down to every single player. Once everyone has their 2 cards, you point the action directly to the player sitting immediately to the left of the big blind. Now let's get our vocabulary straight. When the betting kicks off, you need to listen closely to what the players are saying and watch their hands. A bet simply means they are willingly throwing chips into the pot to get the action going for that round.
Now, if a bet is already out there, or like in the pre-flop, where the big blind is already sitting in the middle, the next player might say, call. Calling just means they want to stay in the hand, but they don't want to raise the stakes, so they exactly match whatever the current bet amount is. Simple as that.
Or they might want to raise. A raise actively bumps up the size of the current bet, which forces everyone else to match this new, higher amount if they want to hold on to their cards. Typically, the minimum raise is double the big blind. But hey, remember what game we're playing here? No limit Texas Hold'em.
That no-limit part means there is zero maximum. A player can literally shove every single chip they own into the middle and declare they are all in. That intense drama, that's exactly why this game is so famous, and you've got to be sharp and ready to manage it.
Finally, if a player is staring down a bet they just don't want to match, they have to fold. They toss their hand away, give up any claim to the pot, and just wait for the next deal. And keep your eyes peeled here. If everyone folds except for one lone player, that hand is over immediately. That remaining player instantly scoops up whatever is in the pot, and they don't even have to show their cards.
All right, Section 4, Flop, Turn, and River. This is where the magic really happens with the community cards. If 2 or more players actually survive that crazy first round of betting, it is time for you to deal the shared cards face up, right in the middle of the table.
You're going to march the game through 3 distinct stages here. First up is the flop. This is where you deal 3 cards simultaneously face up. Next, after a round of betting, you deal the turn. That's just 1 additional face-up card. Finally, after another round of bets, you deal the river, which is the 5th and final face-up card. This whole structure lets the players gradually build up their hand by combining these shared community cards with those 2 secret hole cards they've been hiding.
Now, starting with the betting round right after the flop, things change a bit. There are no more forced blind bets. This brings us to a new term, the check. Since there's no forced bet, the first player to act can literally just tap the table and check for free. They stay in the hand, but they pass the action to the next guy. They can all safely check right around the table, well, unless someone decides to fire off a bet. The second a bet is made, that free option to check is gone, and everyone else has to either call, raise, or fold.
As the dealer, you are the conductor of this rhythm. Think about it. Pre-flop, they've only got 2 cards. By the flop, they have 5. On the turn, they've got 6. And by the river, everyone at the table has 7 total cards to work with. You have to maintain absolute control over this sequence. You make sure each phase finishes its betting round completely before moving on. Deal just 1 card too early, and you literally ruin the integrity of the entire hand. Which brings us to Section 5, the final showdown, pushing the pot. If we still have 2 or more players in the hand after that river card is dealt and all the final bets are perfectly matched up, we have reached the climax. It's time for the showdown. All remaining players have to flip over their hole cards. And this is it, rookie. This is where your hand-reading skills are put to the ultimate test. You have to quickly scan the table and figure out the absolute best 5-card combination out of the 7 available cards for each player. Keep in mind, a player can use both their hole cards, just 1 hole card, or they can even play the board. That means they ignore their secret cards entirely and just use the 5 community cards to make their highest possible hand. Once you've correctly read the hands, you just follow these steps like a mental checklist. Step 1. Confidently push the chips to the winner. Step 2. Slide the dealer button exactly 1 spot to the left, clockwise. Step 3. Make sure the new small and big blinds are posted. And then, you shuffle up and you start the whole beautiful process all over again. And there you have it. That comprehensively covers the fundamentals of dealing no-limit Texas Hold'em. You're armed with the hand rankings, you know the betting vocabulary, and you understand the exact rhythm of the deal from the very first blind all the way down to the river. So my final question to you as you stare down that green felt is this. Rookie, are you actually ready to read the board, control the action, and run this table under pressure? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I will see you out there on the casino floor.